Hey everyone, this is Lehua Kauhane from phoenixzen.com, and today I'm starting up a brand new series called Google Zen. We've already released several vlogs and articles talking about how to get organized with Google products, so this episode officially marks the start of it. So thanks for joining me. In the last unofficial Google Zen episode, I showed you how to set up your Gmail to be simple yet functional. The link for that episode is in the description below, or if you're watching this on our blog, it's below the video. I'm also going to try and put a link, like an annotation or whatnot. But in this episode, I'm going to be sharing how to set up an organized system with Gmail that will lead to improved workflow and productivity. Now, whether you use this email for personal or business use, the goal here is the same, and that's inbox zero. And I'll tell you why. So, inbox zero means that everything is filed away and can be found quickly. You don't have anything kind of like lying out there that doesn't have a home. As things enter your email, you see them because there's no extra fluff sitting there. So, which means you can respond to it much more quickly. And for businesses, that's very crucial. And it's also kind of crucial for personal emails. You might be waiting for something. So, just like with organizing a space and the three principles I mentioned in my Organizing Your Kitchen video, which will also be in the description, you want to be aware of three things, and that is retrieval, purpose, and storage. Retrieval means finding emails quickly and easily. Purpose means that your incoming emails serve you and your current needs and goals. If they're no longer relevant, you can purge them. And storage means you can easily file emails in the proper place, or archive them, as Gmail calls it. So, in this video, I'm going to show you how ridiculously easy it is to set up an efficient and organized email system. Contrary to organizing norms, this is actually easier to do with a Gmail that currently has some mail, rather than a completely new Gmail. And I'm going to show you as we go on why that is. So the Gmail we set up in our last episode has quite a bit in its inbox now since I haven't touched it in months. So it's a perfect example. So don't worry if you have like hundreds of emails in your inbox. You still can get to inbox zero. You don't have to be like completely fresh, because otherwise, you'll kind of see what I mean. So I'm gonna go over 2 life hacks in this video. This video might end up being a little bit long, but I promise you it is very useful. It's a system that I use personally for my emails. So, life hack number 1 is to create some workflow labels. I'm going to show you exactly how to do these things. So, one that I like to... Okay, first of all, let me explain what labels are. Labels are like very much like folders in a regular email account, but with one very powerful feature. So you can have multiple labels for things. It makes things easier to find. And you'll find these on the left side. Like I already created one for Humble Bundle and for Phoenix Zen. But the neat thing is, instead of just having it have one label, like a regular email has its folders, you can do multiple things. So the reason why you're going to have to make workflow stuff is so that when emails come in, you'll have a folder for these. And you can change labels at any time. So I'm going to show you how to make a label. Let's make a label. Let's make these workflow labels. First of all, there's one that you want that's for waiting. If you're waiting for a response for an email from somebody, you can put it in that folder and check it every now and then, and maybe follow up with the person, and if they haven't gotten back to you in a timely manner. So what you're going to do is you're going to go on the left, hit more. I already hit it. Create new label. You're going to enter the label name. So in this case, I'm going to call it waiting. And I'm going to create it. And it's going to end up right here. If you really want to, in this case, hold on. I'm going to edit that label. I'm going to capitalize it just so it stands out, because it does do it in alphabetical order. I think unfortunately you can't sort them, but you can hide certain ones if you want them to show up like down below. If you have some common ones that you want to access all the time, you can do it that way. But for the purpose of this, we're going to keep it simple. So just capitalize it. So one for waiting. I'm going to make another one for action or to do items, just things you need to do. You can also create something for immediate or urgent stuff, stuff to read, but whatever categories work for you, make it something appealing for you, something easy to remember and fun. Because the one thing for retrieval purposes, when you're organizing, is you want to make sure it's easy to remember. Because if it's easy to remember, you're going to find it, right? And that's actually, yeah. And so you want to create labels that are easy to remember. This applies also for when you're organizing a space. But the reason for that is because if it's easy to remember, it's easy to find things. But when you make something that's easy to create or to think of, you'll think of it later when you're looking for it. So for this purpose, I'm just going to put action or to do. And you don't have to do it exactly like I'm doing it. Find what works for you, but I highly recommend if you have a Gmail and you want to get to inbox 0, use these workflow labels. And I'll show you like more comprehensively how it works. You will also make a folder, if you choose, called to file or archive. As I said earlier, you don't have to do it this way, but these are just some options. So you are also going to color these, and I'll show you how. You see to the right when you kind of like mouse over it, there's an arrow that shows up. You're going to label it a color, and you can make it any color you want, but I highly recommend you make it a color that you actually like. Or maybe that you don't like, so yeah, you actually do it when you see emails with that color. Doesn't, for the purpose of this, it's not really going to matter for me, but I'm just going to show it. And I'm only going to color these because these are workflow labels and not just stuff to store. So I'm going to explain, that's the end of the life hack, number 1. Now I'm going to go on into the storage component of organizing. Remember how I mentioned retrieval, purpose, and storage. So first of all, we're going to start with a bit of decluttering or purging. You might see some emails that really don't belong or are now irrelevant. Like that's the first thing you kind of want to do is like when you're organizing a space, you know, there's stuff that obviously doesn't belong. Maybe like old receipts for something that was purchased like 10 years ago, or, you know, like napkins or empty boxes from shipments or stuff like that. Stuff that's obviously to be thrown out or recycled. So you're going to want to search your emails. I don't really have any at the moment, but if you do, you can immediately trash them. You don't have to purge your trash so that it's permanently gone. Just put in the trash. So that's step 1. Next, you're going to do a bit of sorting. So you might notice some themes for your emails. Like I noticed there's a bunch for Marie Forleo. There's a bunch for Humble Bundle. These are all newsletters, basically. And there's some for Extra Life. And there's also some for The Secret. So that's kind of what I'm going to label it, just because it's so easy to remember. And I can match it that way. So it's not always email newsletters, though. You might get emails from your family that you just want to collectively put under a family label, or emails for work, or emails for job hunting alerts, or emails for what have you, records and receipts. So you're going to pick a theme for each, like, kind of group or each family, and that's going to become its new home. So it's the same as before when you set it up. This time you won't want to use caps because you want to kind of differentiate. Actually, you don't need to use caps because I colored them, but you could do both. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it easy by using the search. So I'm going to go in the search bar and type in Marie Forleo. So all the emails from Marie Forleo are going to pop up here. There's 12 of them. I'm going to hit select all. And I'm going to create a label for them by hitting this tag right here. It's another way to create labels. So you're going to go to this, go down to create new, and then you're going to go to Marie Forleo. And now they all have Marie Forleo, but they are also all in the inbox. And to easily archive them, you can just select the ones you want to archive and hit archive. And now if I go back to the inbox, they are no longer in the inbox. They only have the Marie Forleo label. See, it's checked right here. So that's an easy way to do it. I can do it again for you guys just to show you again. So you're going to search. I'm going to go Humble Bundle because that's the next email. Let's double check that these are a Humble Bundle. Wow, I have 26. Select all. Hit the tag that says labels. Down, create new. Actually, I made one already, so I will check this. Hit apply. And archive. Now when I go back here, there's nothing from Marie Forleo, and there's nothing from Humble Bundle. So I mean, you can do this for almost everything. It might get harder with other emails as well, like emails from your family and stuff that's not newsletters, because newsletters are kind of easy to tell. But it's pretty simple. So I already explained how labels work. But here's an example. Let's do one for Extra Life. So I'm going to search for all Extra Life ones. See, I have 27. Okay, and this one see what I mean, like if anything mentions Extra Life or whatever you're searching for, it's going to show up in the search bar too. So what you could do is you could actually, I don't know if you guys saw what I did. There's a little arrow on the right of the search bar. You can drop down and you can search specifically for emails from that person. So sometimes it's a little tricky when you have an email newsletter because it comes, like this one comes from Google because it's FeedBurner. But what I do sometimes is, you notice all of them say Extra Life blog update. I can go subject Extra Life blog update and search. And now as you can see, it only has the other emails. It doesn't have the one that I sent to myself. The other one. But let's say, okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna create a label called Extra Life. So now all of these have the Extra Life label and they're still in the inbox. But let's say that these two in particular I want to keep because they're action items. Let's just say, as an example. I'm going to archive the rest. But what I'm going to do with these, and I'm going to unselect these. I'm going to select these two, and I'm going to put them in the action and to do. So now you can see they have that blue color that I assigned to it. And let's say I can archive it now. So now, and actually on the left side it's neat because it bolds it when there's unread messages in that label, or that have that label. So there's one in my action to do, and if I click on it, you can see it, like, and even when you go to the Extra Life folder, it has that blue label, so it stands out, you know. So Humble Bundle has 25 unread messages and Marie Forleo has 11. Okay. Most of these emails... Okay, let's go to the secret. Okay. In this case... See, this one is scrolls via at the secret.tv. So I'm going to try that and see if it works. You can go from... You can actually search in specific folders too. Actually, if I search in my inbox, I probably won't end up with all the other stuff too. So search. And yep, as I thought. So I'm going to create the label. archive. Now there is only one unread one, which I'm actually going to throw away because it's just a test. These two go under Phoenix Zen. There, let's say. And you can also drag these to the left too. If you have an individual message, you can go like this, drag it. So I don't need these from Gmail. I can drag this to Extra Life. And this is Phoenix Zen. So now there's no email. See, inbox 0. I mean, that was under 100 messages, so that's understandable. But, you know, just do a little bit at a time. Don't feel like you have to sit there for hours on end, like, or days doing it straight, because you'll get tired. But if you really, like, use the search engine feature to do it all at once instead of one email at a time, it's so much easier. So I'm going to mention life hack number 2 now, and that is filters. So filters can be used to automatically label and archive new emails for you as they hit your inbox. I'm going to repeat that. As they hit your inbox, it automatically labels these and archives them. I mean, it can do other stuff too, but that's what I use it for. And the good thing about this is you don't have to manually do anything each time. You just automate everything. So isn't that neat? It's like having your own personal assistant within Gmail. So how to create one? Let's go over that. You're going to use the search feature again. This time, you are going to, let me put a few of these back in the inbox. These back there. All right. Because I can't remember. I think it was, oh, this is right. That's the feed proxy one. Okay. Let's say that when I get Extra Life emails, I want them to go straight to the Extra Life folder. Like, I don't even want to look at it. Because it's assuming that I actually look through all my messages, my email newsletters. Let's see. So, what was it? Extra Life blog update. Instead of hitting search, you're going to go to the right and hit create filter with this search. And as you can see, like, all of these appear because that's kind of what falls under it. So when a new message arrives that matches this search, you can have it skip the inbox entirely, thus keeping your inbox 0. You can mark it as read. I would use this maybe for stuff that comes in like a backup email that has maybe a backup of like my website or whatnot, or just something that I don't need to see but I need to keep. You can star it if you do the star thing. You can apply the label, which is what we're going to do. We're going to use the label Extra Life. You could actually automatically forward something to another email, which I've never used, but it's something you could definitely do. You can delete it, although I would say if you're going to delete something automatically as it hits your inbox, then unless it's spam that you get and you can't get rid of, I don't use that feature. Never send it to spam. That's actually neat when you get emails that somehow end up there and you don't want it to. I check my spam folder, but that's neat as well. You can send a canned response, which is something I can go over in another video, but it's basically like a feature where you can automatically reply. A canned response is like a template. Like if you I send out like follow-ups, if you send out a lot of emails and you don't want to type in the exact thing every time or copy paste it, it just does it for you. You can select the response you want, and when you're writing the email, and it'll input that, and then you can like customize it after that and send. It's a template. So I guess you can automatically send something back, like an auto reply. Maybe if you get messages from certain people, you can always mark it as important, never mark it as important, or categorize as I don't use these categories. These are categories that Gmail created to try and get organized, and you could use them if you find it helpful, but I have my own system. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have it apply the label Extra Life. I am also going to archive it. So I'm going to create the filter. It's not going to do it right away. It's going to do it from now on. I just want to make that clear. So that's how filters work pretty much. So let's see. I want to make sure. So, I mean, you can use it for emails that don't need to be read but still need to be kept. You can just have it like skip the inbox, or what they call archive it, and it'll just show up on the left. What I personally do is I like to see what comes into my inbox, but I attach the label so that when it hits my inbox, it has a label on it, and I can just immediately like archive it, and that's it. Like, I don't have to like click on this and then label it and then like do what I did earlier. It's super easy. And that way, if things kind of get backed up, I can just see what has a label on it and check those and archive them. And then I only have to go through the ones that are not archived. I'm not archived, not labeled. So that's the second life hack that I have for you is filters. You can always change these filters by clicking this gear in the top right and selecting settings and go to the filters tab. As you can see, I made one for extra life. So you can edit it, you can delete it, and it tells you exactly what it's going to do. So that's in a nutshell what filters are. I'm not going to go through each one. Actually, let me just go through one more. Humble bundle. Let's see. Let me unselect. It was all from this one. So let me go back. So let's see. Create filter. It does look like, yeah, all 25 episode emails are from there. So you're gonna skip the inbox and archive it. Apply the label Humble Bundle, and so your filter is created. And now when I look in the tab, it shows that. So I mean, very customizable. The labels as well. If you ever want to see all of your emails at once, it can be like in order of when they appeared in your inbox. You can hit Alt Mail. It'll actually show everything. And then you can actually see that label. If you're in the file itself, it's not going to show that label because it's obviously labeled that. See what I mean? Right here. But that way, at a glance, you can see if there's something that still needs to be done. You can just check these as you're going through your day, you know? So now we're going to talk about retrieval a little bit, and we're almost done. So I know it's been about 20 minutes or so, but hang in there. We're almost done. So this is a fun part where you can test your system. So one of my organizer friends says, if you can't find something in 30 seconds or less, it's in the wrong place and needs a new home. And that's so true. So let's test our new system. So you can type in a keyword in the search bar. I'm trying to think of something like, let's say games, because I know there's it's kind of hard because I don't actually, these are all newsletters, but just type in something in the keyword search bar at the top, it will show up. That's when color labels do come in handy, as I said. Like, let's say I knew there was a game that I wanted, and that's why I put it in my action list. Like, I would type in games or whatever the keyword is, then I can immediately see the color, like, oh yeah, that's the one I wanted, you know? Then after, the idea is when you do that, like, let's say I processed this or did whatever I needed to do. You can remove the label. It would remove that label, not all of them. So it's no longer in your action. Now it's, yeah, now there's one left. Let's say I did both of them. Can remove it. There's no longer anything in the to-do folder. And now all of these, the two that were in that folder before, no longer have that label. And it's not bolded anymore. I know it's kind of hard to understand right now, but once you start getting the hang of it, I can walk you through it. It's actually like very simple. So The search bar is your way to kind of test your retrieval. Let's see. If you have a good idea of where something already is, you can just go straight to that label and search for it. If you're looking for a specific date, of course, you can look. Yeah, it tells you date within 1 day of. Let's say I wanted to look at an email from October 7th, but I was like, oh, maybe it's around that day. I'm not quite sure. It's 3 days within there. I would search. Guess I had no emails around that day. Let's go back. How about 1 month? Okay, so all of these were sent within a month of October 7th or something. It's just an easier way to kind of check. I don't always use that search feature. What I do is I'll go into that specific folder and then it's already organized by date, so I could just go and say, oh, hey, yeah, it was October 7th. Oh, actually, I didn't get anything before October 7th because I made this email after then, I think. So, yeah, anyway. Let's see. I guess extra important stuff could be starred too if you like. You know that star feature? Let's look at it. So, like this. But whatever you do, be consistent with it. Because, so if you add on more stuff, like two criteria for a very important thing, it gets kind of complicated. So, I used to use the starring system and it got ridiculous before. Like, everything was starred. Like, I mean, nothing starred in this one, but I wouldn't be able to like differentiate what it was I needed to do or whatnot. So I do like the folders like to do, to read, to file, or whatever. That way you can easily do it. You might not even need this folder, the to file or archive folder, but yeah, so that's pretty much it. So today I went over how to organize your Gmail. I talked about the life hacks for the workflow labels, showed you how to create a label. And we went through the storage and retrieval process, and we also went through the second life hack, which is filters and how to create that and customize that. So, stay tuned for more episodes in our Google Zen series. I hope you got some useful tips out of this video. Please leave if you like this video, please leave a comment over on our blog at phoenixzen.com or in the in the video like below this video on YouTube. We also have a nifty email we send out to our community every week with organizing tips, blog updates, and exclusive goodies just for our members. So signing up is free, and we never spam or sell your information. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Happy organizing, and happy holidays.